Jesus loves you so much. That's why he became a man over 2,000 years ago. And while he was on earth, he healed many people, fed hungry people, and taught people how to pray. He loved everyone, but not everyone liked Jesus. He had enemies who wanted to kill him. Jesus knew he was going to die, so he went to a garden to pray. Suddenly, soldiers entered the garden and arrested Jesus. They took him to the governor. The first station, Jesus is condemned to death. It was early on Friday morning when Jesus stood silently in front of the governor. His wrists were bound together with ropes. The governor knew Jesus was not guilty of any crime, and he didn't want to crucify him, but the crowds shouted, "Crucify him!" So the governor sent Jesus away to be whipped and crucified. The second station, Jesus accepts his cross. Jesus was led into the courtyard, and soldiers made fun of him. "It's time to get this man's cross," said one of them. Two other soldiers dragged the cross over to Jesus. They placed it in his hands and over his shoulders. As he took the cross, Jesus began to bend over. The cross was so heavy. The third station, Jesus falls the first time. Jesus was led out of the courtyard, dragging his cross through the narrow streets. The air was hot and humid. A crowd of people followed. Suddenly, Jesus lost his balance and fell down. The cross landed on top of him. Some people in the crowd cried out, "Oh no!" But others began to laugh at him. Jesus took up his cross and began walking again. The fourth station, Jesus meets his mother. The city was filled with people. Jesus walked slowly with his heavy cross over his shoulders. In the crowds that followed him was one very special person, his mother, Mary. Mary came up to Jesus and reached out her hand to touch him. Jesus stopped walking and looked up at his mother. The soldiers called to Jesus, "Keep walking." The fifth station, Simon helps Jesus carry his cross. Jesus was so exhausted that it was hard for him to put one foot in front of the other. Someone in the crowd said, "Won't anyone help him? He is struggling to carry his cross." The soldiers were afraid that Jesus would collapse. They grabbed a man named Simon, saying, "Quick, help this man carry his cross." Simon went over to Jesus and lifted part of the cross onto his strong shoulders. Together, Jesus and Simon began walking. The sixth station, Veronica wipes Jesus' face. Jesus was covered in sweat and blood, and even with Simon's help, he walked very slowly. Suddenly, a woman pushed through the crowd. Veronica wanted to help Jesus. When she got to him, he stopped to look at her. Veronica took off her veil and wiped Jesus' forehead, eyes, cheeks, and mouth. She was very gentle. She wanted to make him feel better by cleaning his face with her soft veil. Then a miracle happened. When Veronica looked at her veil, she saw the face of Jesus on it. The seventh station, Jesus falls a second time. As Jesus walked out through the city gates, he was very thirsty, and the heat made it hard for him to breathe. The weight of the cross was so heavy, and suddenly Jesus fell a second time. The soldiers pulled him up and put the cross on his shoulders once more. The eighth station, Jesus comforts the women. Many people in the crowd knew about Jesus. They knew about all the miracles he had done and all the people he had healed. Some women standing together in a group were upset and crying because Jesus was on his way to die. When Jesus saw the women, he comforted them and told them not to cry for him. The ninth station, Jesus falls a third time. "Keep moving, Jesus. We are nearly there," one of the soldiers said. Another soldier gave a quick tug on the rope around Jesus' waist, hoping to make him move faster. This made Jesus gasp for breath. He wobbled from side to side, tried to get his balance, and then he fell a third time. The 10th station, Jesus is stripped of his garments. Dark clouds covered the sky as Jesus picked up his cross and staggered the last few yards to the top of Calvary. Finally, his walk was over. The soldiers took the cross from Jesus. Simon's job was done, and he stepped back into the crowd. The soldiers roughly pulled off Jesus' clothes to get him ready for crucifixion. The 11th station, Jesus is nailed to the cross. The soldiers led Jesus to his cross, turned him around, and pushed him down so that he was lying face up on the cross. A soldier stretched out Jesus' arms. With a heavy hammer, he pounded nails through Jesus' hands and feet. Then the soldiers lifted his cross and put it in the ground. Jesus prayed, "Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they are doing." The 12th station, Jesus dies on the cross. Mary stood at the foot of Jesus' cross with John, Jesus' beloved disciple. After 3 long hours, Jesus said his last words, "It is finished." His head dropped down, and he took his last breath, and he died. The 13th station, Jesus is taken down from the cross. One of Jesus' friends got permission to take Jesus' body down from the cross. A ladder was placed up against the cross. The nails were removed from his hands and feet, and Jesus' body was slowly lowered to the ground. Mary sat on the ground and waited to hold her son. The 14th station, Jesus is laid in the tomb. Mary didn't want to let go of Jesus, but his friends carried him to a new tomb. Jesus' body was wrapped in strips of fine linen cloth. Mary watched as her son's body was laid on a flat rock inside the tomb. Finally, it was time to leave. A large stone was rolled against the opening. The 15th station, Jesus rises from the dead. On the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene set out for the tomb. She saw the stone had been removed. Then she heard a voice behind her. She turned around and saw Jesus standing there. Jesus said, "Go and tell my disciples that I have risen from the dead. I am alive." Jesus appeared to his disciples for 40 days and then ascended to heaven. But he is alive, and he is with us always.